Hello and welcome to We Live in a Society.
Hello, my name's Janette and I'm from Newcastle, Australia.
What was it like raising a son with autism?
It was very hard. It was very, very hard. I think the first initial shock was that we thought something was different, but you didn't want to think it was different. And being a mother, you just had that instinct. Um, a lot of people were saying because he was my third child that people were doing things for him and that's why he was like it, blah, 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 blah. But no, there's been many, many, many hard times. I would think that the first 10 years are the hardest, especially the first 5, where you're still coming to terms with the diagnosis and then you're not understanding what your child's doing these peculiar behaviours for. And it did take a strain on the marriage and everything. But my 2 other beautiful children helped me get through it, and you can get there, but it's a very, very, very hard time.
Do you have any advice for other parents whose child has just been diagnosed with autism?
Yes, I would say once you get over the shock, try to follow your heart. You will be told all the negativities that the doctors, specialists, everyone will tell you. Don't believe them. Fight for it. Believe what you think is right for your child. Um, Accepting them into society is the best thing. Don't baby them. Please don't baby them. Um, Listen to your OTs and your speeches and your doctors and specialists, but treat them normal. But don't give in to them. You just don't give in to them. I see too many people with kids walking around looking at their laptops and that's all they give them, 24/7s or whatever they want. You don't do that. You have to use those tools when you need those tools. Meltdowns before. If your child has a meltdown, you will know. And then you've got to stop, calm down, which is really hard, and realize why they had the meltdown. There will be something that they had the meltdown for, and it could be just a sound of something or something they couldn't get. But yeah, please don't give in to them. And yeah, you will get all the negativities that your child won't be able to do this and your child won't be able to do that. And I think if you talk to anyone that has a child with a disability, that they go through the same thing. And you're not alone. Always remember you're not alone. And it can be done. You can get this child to be in society.
Jeanette, do you have any funny stories that you would like to share?
Yes, I do have a few. Actually, I think one that would be amusing is that I have a son, Shane, who has autism. And I do recall many, 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 many moments where people would look at us thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on? But one particular funny one, and we will always remember it, is what we were at the beach with him. And he used to wear a big goggle thing on his face, and he's at the beach and he's just laying face down looking at the sand, and people, many, many people thought he was drowning, and we're just standing there laughing, not doing anything, and everyone kept looking at us thinking, what's going on, what's going on? But what it was that he was actually watching the grains of sand, we found out, that was actually going with each wave. But many people walked past thinking what a neglectful person we were, because he was looked like he was drowning, and he wasn't. So we've had many, many moments of society looking at Shane differently, and we know better. Yeah.
Were you involved with any support groups?
Yes, I have. I've been involved with a few. I find they're very helpful. I find that talking to other mothers and parents is really, really good. I am not involved anymore, but I did find through my time being involved that finally we got some fathers involved, because when Shane was little, we didn't have that support, and I think that males need a support group as well, because it's hard for the fathers to accept. But in my time now, I'm seeing that a lot of fathers are getting involved, which is wonderful. It takes a lot of the pressure off the mothers. But yeah, I think the support groups are great, and not just for the parents, but for the siblings. Unfortunately, that was only just happening when we were there, and my 2 didn't want to get involved. But I think a support group for the siblings, where other siblings can go and talk to someone about all the weird things that their brother or sister does and not feel different. Because if you don't have a child with a disability, I know with my girlfriends that I say things or used to say things to them and they don't understand. They really don't understand. So yeah, no, support groups are good.
Were there any embarrassing moments?
One of our embarrassing moments was with Shane, apart from many, but this one's the one that sticks out the most, is that we were at a family function up at the Vineyards in Newcastle, Hunter Valley, and my family member said, right, Janette, you're going to sit down, you're going to eat your lunch for once. You're actually going to sit down, the kids will look after Shane. So I sat down, and I think it was a matter of 10, 15 minutes, and they all come over screaming, Mum, Mum, quick, quick. The man's gone to get the manager and we have to leave. Shane pushed a child off the play equipment. So up I go and find out what's going. We actually end up getting the chef come over, not the manager. But this mother was just going irate, absolutely irate, because Shane apparently had pushed the child and it fell. Mind you, all the kids were pushing each other, apparently, I found out later. It was such an embarrassing situation that the mother just was going so off at me and people were coming around and then my family members were getting involved with it too and a big argument happened that I just felt so embarrassed and so awful. The kids were crying. Shane was unaware of it all. He was happy. He couldn't care less what was going on. So I just grabbed the kids and drove home all the way from the Hunter Valley, bawling my eyes out because this woman was just such a bitch to us. One of the things that she said and will always stick in my head is that she told him he was a wild animal and that he needed to be put in a cage and locked up and that I wasn't a controllable mother. So yeah, that was one of the first of many things that was said to us about Shane. Shopping centres was another bad one where parents used to always judge you. And I think the problem is because they look normal that they don't realise, and also if it was a Down syndrome or something like that, which is a story I can share with you later, society doesn't understand that that child has a disability. Um, One of the other stories that I will omit with society is that Shane has a friend and his name is Caleb. He calls me his adopted mum. He unfortunately lost his mum. Both boys have autism. When the Newcastle Knights football team started to play, I used to take them to the football. I used to get there very, very early and let them get used to the environment. I used to walk them around, show them what to do and what was expected of them. Now, because of their autism, they used to yell out silly things and unusual things, and people in the crowd used to always comment. Caleb was a Storm supporter, so he always used to wear his Storm shirt. And we had people yelling, why are you barracking for the Knights when you're wearing a Storm's jersey? You know, all these stupid comments. The cheer girls would never give him any of the promotion stuff, even though they wanted to. They wouldn't give them to him. But then as years passed, I made friends with another lady and her son has Down syndrome. So I said, he can come to football, not a problem. So I used to take the three boys to the football. And things changed dramatically once we had Michael with his Down syndrome. They got the promotion from the girls. The girls would always give him something. People in the crowd didn't comment much and laughed and agreed with them. So the whole situation from taking my two boys virtually with autism to a football to then taking three, one with Down syndrome, and because he has Down syndrome and is quite obviously, how society changed. One of the other incidents that used to happen was I had to contain Shane as we were leaving. Once again, you cannot break the rules with a boy with autism. And there were some young boys ahead, and they were just kicking a bottle, a glass bottle. And Shane's reaction was, oh, we can't do that. They can't do that really loud. They're going to cut their feet. They're going to hurt people. I had to sort of train him up to be quiet and not to comment on things like that. But it's just one of those situations that, you know, with a person with autism, that you can't break the rules. And these boys were breaking the rules. So that also in society has another thing where they could be picked on. If I wasn't there, he might have been picked on for saying that. So it is a hard thing to be in society with autism, but their reaction to looking normal and having either a brain acquired injury or autism, the society accepts it differently. Yeah.
What is the best advice you have been given?
Was from one of Shane's teachers and a few of his teachers at school. He went to a special school and they did say, treat him normal. Just treat him normal. And I think also what I said earlier was when we do have a meltdown, to look for why he had a meltdown, which has taken me many years to realise. And I think another thing is that you plan ahead, especially with a child with autism. You plan ahead. You make sure that everything's organised and you've got the whole day out organised so that you won't have any meltdown. So I think that was one of the best advices, was treat him normal and look for what could cause a meltdown and try to avoid it. So plan ahead, and I've always been one to plan ahead.
Who is one stranger that you will always remember?
I think a stranger that I remember mostly was someone when I was having a bad time with Shane, and I was really upset, and the kids and everything was getting me down. And I think she just come up and said, "Are you okay? Is there anything that I can do to help you?" I explained the situation, and she said, "Look, I can just sit here with you if you like, and just be here and wait till you calm down." And she did. I think it was at a shopping centre, and she did. And yeah, we just sat there with her for a while, and just her presence really calmed me down. So I think that person changed me a little bit, because now I volunteer, and I feel that sometimes I do the same for other people. But yeah, just that, are you okay? Just asking, are you okay? Okay, I'm just going to sit here with you, if you like, until you calm down and things get better. So yeah, I think that person was really nice in the shopping centre in a really bad time. There was another funny story with us driving. Shane, who has autism, used to do a thing called vaulting, which is gymnastics on horseback. And we travelled to Kellyville, down to Canberra, and a few places like that with it. We actually went to Canberra for the first time. Shane was in the front, which he liked. With his autism, he loved being in the front. My other son, Josh, was in the back and was getting a bit cramped, so we swapped him over, put Josh in the front, put Shane in the back. When we went down to Canberra, we got lost because we didn't have Shane in the front, which is my GPS person, because he used to look at maps and study maps really well. That was with his autism. We ended up going around and around and around Canberra Circle because we had no idea how to get off or where we were going. So I had to pull over the first place I could find, put Josh in the back seat, put Shane in the front seat, and Shane was the one that got us to the place that we were. Otherwise, we would just be going round and round and around. So yeah, once again, if you have a child with autism and they've got a gift, follow that gift, because Shane used to read his maths or blue book, and he used to read this blue book all the time, so he knew the maths really well, and he studies maths really, really well, so he knows where to get you to. But Josh got no idea. Hi everyone, this is Shane, the one that I've been talking about. Yeah, he's 30 now, and he's working, driving. Just drove me to Sydney for the Elton John concert. So yeah, persevere if you do have a child with autism, because this is what you can get.
And I also worked for 10 years too, by the
Oh,
way.
and he has worked for 10 years, that I've just been reminded of, that he's now working for 10 years, has worked for 10 years. So we're up till long service. So yes. So hang in there, because this is what you get.